Oh, hey, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about subject to real estate investing. You're interested in that? Stick around. Ashley Jackson, the real estate professor here. And if you are thinking, Ashley, I have never heard of subject to, what on earth are you talking about? Hey, you are in great company. It's actually quite uncommon and it's not very saturated, which is why it's the perfect way to get into real estate investing. Well, essentially, subject to is exactly what it sounds like. This is when you're going to purchase a property subject to the loan that has already been qualified, signed for by somebody else. That is subject to. Now, to make subject to just a little bit easier to digest, you will also hear me refer to it as a mortgage takeover, not to be confused with a loan assumption. Of course, I have a video on loan assumptions right after this one for you to check out. I don't want to waste too much time talking about that because you're here for subject to. Okay, subject to is a real estate acquisition strategy. It is underneath the creative finance umbrella, more specifically the seller finance umbrella, and we call it subject to. Now, I'm going to show you a quick diagram to illustrate it. I think that's the best way to teach this model. So let's go ahead and take a look. While I pull this up, let me just tell you a few things about subject to. Number one, subject to real estate is definitely a way you want to start if you're not interested in using your own money, your own credit. You don't even have to use your own income verification, tax returns, anything like that. So I think it's perfect for people who are getting started in real estate, who may not want to use their own capital. It's also great for current investors. A lot of times banks stop lending to us once we get our portfolio so large. And so we have to find other ways to acquire properties without using our own money. This is perfect for you. And I also have recently seen a lot of tenants using this. Tenants who want to buy the property that they're living in from their landlord, and they're just trying to figure out a creative way to do it. Of course, there are tons of other ways to use this, but just for illustrative purposes, let's keep it simple. So subject to, we have a house. Now, most people think that when you go and get a house and you get a loan, that the loan and the deed are one and the same. Well, that couldn't be farther from the truth, guys. The loan that you get from the bank is the financing side. That's just your way of getting the money to buy the house to get the deed. But the deed is totally separate from your mortgage loan. They are two totally different processes, two totally different documents, two totally different entities. Okay, so yes, the loan we're taking over is subject to the bank's terms, but the house that we're taking over is just subject to whatever the owner says they want it to be subject to. The owner can sell their house at any time, whenever they feel like it. Now, I know some of you who might know a little bit more are going to mention the due on sale clause, and don't worry, I have a video for that. I'll put it here in the link below, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But just to keep it simple, I just want to stick to the subject to basics. Okay, so now you know that when you purchase a house using a bank or any kind of loan, there are two separate things happening. You're getting financing, and you're also getting the deed to the house. Now, for the financing side of things, as you all may well know, that person's going to have to qualify it. When you go to get a loan from the bank, they're going to look at your W-2s, your tax returns, income verification, your credit score, your social security number. You need to have one. You need to have a down payment in most instances. You're going to have an inspection. And if it doesn't pass, your bank will not finance it for you. And also, you're going to need to close that in your name if you're using a traditional loan product. So what you are essentially doing is saying, Ashley, you have already qualified for this loan, right? You have lived in this house for 5 years. You've been paying on the mortgage just fine. Nothing else needs to happen with this loan. That part is done. Okay, you, new or seasoned investor, are going to now come and take over the moral responsibility for this bank loan that I have already qualified for. It's already good to go. I've already been living there, right? You're going to take over the moral responsibility. Why is it the moral responsibility? Well, because this loan stays in my name. Remember, the deed, we'll get to that next, will go to me, but the loan will not be able to be transferred to me unless we're doing an assumption, which we have a video on that. We're not. I don't want to qualify for the loan. I don't want my name or my credit score or anything on anybody's loan. So the loan is going to remain in my name, and you, investor, are just going to take over the terms that I agreed to. So let's say if I agreed that I was going to pay 3% interest rate, well, then you're taking over my loan subject to a 3% interest rate. Whatever the terms of my loan is, those are now your terms because you're taking over the moral responsibility to pay out this loan in accordance to the terms that are in it. Now let's get over to this nice juicy deed here. This deed has, again, nothing to do with the bank. That is a totally separate transaction. This deed, I can sign the deed over to you today in my car if I want to. I literally can do that, literally right now with the notary. Okay, so this deed can be transferred as many times as it wants. I can sell it. When I sell it to you and it goes into your name, you can sell it. And then when it goes in that person's name, they can sell it. This deed is just saying who has ownership of the property, who has ownership of the house. The bank is just saying who is responsible for paying us back for giving you the money to buy the house. I hope I explained that well. I feel like I did though. All right, so let's take a look here just to review. The loan is theirs, right? That loan does not go to you. The loan is going to remain in their name. You're going to take over the moral responsibility to pay that back, though, subject to the terms that have already been established based on the person who used this information to qualify for the loan. That person will not be you qualifying for the loan. Now, what becomes yours is the deed. Everyone always asks me this, so the house goes in my name? Yes, the deed. That's the part where the house goes into your name. Everyone always asks, well, can I like sell it? Yes, if your name is on the deed, you can do whatever you want to that house. You can refinance it, you can sell it, you can take out equity, you can do work on it, Airbnb it, keep it as a rental, sell it on a rapid. So many fun things to do with this. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. I'm getting a little silly here, but in sum, today you have learned just a little bit about what SubjectTo is. I strongly encourage you to check out my other videos. Again, some other terms we mentioned were a loan assumption. We also mentioned owner or seller financing, and I want to make sure I explain those things to you. And I haven't forgotten, I'm also going to talk to you about the due on sale clause. See ya later.